No, yeah, I tried them all. No, look, it's all good. It's all, look, take this one. Get this one. Yeah, take that one. Get it out of here. Okay, cool. Thank you. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. What's up, Nerd Avengers? How we doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. Sorry, I am, obviously not at the tower. We'll head there in just a minute. Over here at the After Dark Bar. And reminder to all of you that tonight, I believe starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Lavis, check me on this. At 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the boys going to be hanging out, taking you on a trip around town. And I think After Dark tonight is going to be very, very cool. I was talking to Lavis and Al a bit about the stuff they wanted to get into today. And yeah, it's going to be spicy. Y'all know what's going on with the Peter Parkers? With the Peter Parkers in those Sony games? I don't even know what they are because I don't know Sony like that. You know what I mean? Sony and all their shadiness. But I highly recommend coming back and checking out After Dark tonight. Lavis and Al are going to take you around town, okay? It's going to be really, really cool. All right. But you know what? Look, my time here is done for now. So, all right, let's get to the tower. I'll see you guys in just a second, okay? Okay. What's up, Nerd Avengers? Yeah, we're going to have a good show today. I'm excited. As soon as I get to the tower... Oh, geez, you know what? Let's get to the other view. Okay, so... on the way to the tower, yes, indeed, we're going to be talking about Bane. We're going to be talking about the future of Star Wars. A little report came out yesterday talking about Bane, multiple Darth Bane projects being developed by Lucasfilm and Disney. Pretty cool stuff today. I wanted to bring on not only one of the most underrated YouTubers when it comes to Star Wars, but a man that knows his lore like the back of his hand, and I'm very excited. Lord Callus will be joining us in just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to dig into it all. I'm very excited to be talking about the future of Star Wars, but let's talk for just a second as we're on the way. Let's talk for just a second about that Miss Marvel news. You guys know what? Do you all know what I'm talking about? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, so we got Miss Marvel. Okay, we got Miss Marvel. Okay, and yeah, I have Taylor Lane just in the car. Okay, the Nerdmobile. What do you think we spent all this money on? We're pimping it out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now look, this is what happened. This is what happened with Miss Marvel. This shit is hilarious, guys. This shit is hilarious. Okay, so first of all, we have our Miss Marvel. I believe her name is Iman. I believe that's how you pronounce that name. She has the same name as Pokimane, if you guys are familiar with Pokimane, okay? Now, so she gets cast. She's a relatively unknown. Good for her. Wish her luck. I hope she's going to do well. I assume she will do well. But apparently, one of the actresses that was going to play Miss Marvel, or that was up for the role, okay? One of the actresses started putting people on blast on Twitter, okay? And then somebody pushed back because essentially this gal came out and was like, you know, I was up for the role or whatever, okay? She's kind of being a Karen about it, okay? Now, apparently somebody pushed back on her pretty hard about this and was like, prove it. You didn't do that? Yo. This gal, she literally shows pictures of the script she was given and her very own NDA. This bitch put her NDA online on Twitter just to prove some other person that she was actually being contacted by Marvel. Now, here's the deal. We joke all the time over here, and trust me, man, the mouse and I, we're not on the best terms, okay? Me and the mouse, we got some issues. We're working through it, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But god damn. You're going to post your NDA online? I'm going to go ahead and say I think that's a bad idea. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that that's a bad idea. So that news is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, we've got a Miss Marvel, I guess, is the bottom line. But anyway, I'm pulling into the garage. I'll see you guys in a second, okay? Woo! Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That thing can boogie. It doesn't, I don't know what it looks like to you guys, but that thing can definitely boogie. And, I'm just a little nervous, man. Al and Lava's taking that thing for a spin, and some of the gadgets we put in there, just please, guys, don't blow up the city. I don't think you should be using any projectile weapons inside city limits. In fact, I'm going to have to talk to the mayor about that. Try to figure that out. Now, look, if you're on the other side of the bridge and you're around, you know, the golden casinos, you know, the Fanjexture daddy daycare business, look, by all means, let the weapons off. Shoot a few rockets, a few lasers, you know, have fun on that side of the bridge, okay? But anyways, let's get into it. We got no time to waste. We got some Star Wars to talk. Meet me in the studio. Woo! Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of wild stuff going on. Oh, man, there's some lighting stuff that we need to fix up in here. Anyways, how's all the Nerd Vengers doing, man? How are all you guys doing? I wonder if there's any cool stuff that you guys want to get into. I will save some time today for a little bit of Q&A, but I am mostly looking forward to talking to Callus, man. Talking to Callus about this Bane situation. Now, did y'all see the news yesterday? Did you see the video we did, the report and all that? You let me know. Did you see it? And let's get the chat in here so that you guys can be seen. We want the chat. We want the chat. I gotta like move over here just for this. Y'all saw the news, right? Must have been a line at the elevator. Yeah, no, there was a line at the elevator and at the bathroom for sure. Squadrons at midnight and Minecraft Steve and Smash Bros. Yeah, I don't know about that Minecraft thing, man. It's kind of weird. Darth Bane rumors, says Santa. Yeah, amen, man. I'm excited to talk about these rumors for sure. Already installed Squadrons, 28 gigs, Pog. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I got to get it installed. I'm gonna install it tonight, or maybe after the show. First Muslim superhero. Indeed, man. Hey, look, I just want to say this, too. If you're a big fan of Miss Marvel, that's fantastic. And I think that's great. And honestly, that's cool, man. That's cool that you guys are getting that character represented. I've never been really into Miss Marvel. I don't think she's, like, the worst character or whatever. Kamala Khan's kind of cool. But not really my thing. But, you know, hey, if you're into it, you're into it. That's really cool, man. That ride looks slick. Thank you, man. Yeah, you know, sometimes, man, if I'm chilling at the tower, Jason, I'll go down into the garage and I just get a cloth out, man. I just put some shine on there. You know what I mean? I just give her a nice little rub down. You know what I mean? Give her a nice little rub down. And then I also touched the Nerdmobile. All right, look, let's see if we can get Callus on the line. Let's see if we can get Callus on the line. And then I got to figure out how we want to do this shot. I'd love to get his video in here, but it's just a little bit weird. Yeah. Commando Rex says, Josh, did you hear Peter face change in Spider-Man Remastered? Yeah, actually, that is... They're going to get into that tonight on After Dark. So, again, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and you check back tonight After Dark, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lavis and Al are going to get into the Peter Parker face change for sure. Yeah. Love the streams. Missed you yesterday. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Look, I just had some other stuff I needed to take care of yesterday. So, yeah, it is what it is. But we'll be doing it today. Obviously, we're streaming now, and then we're going to be streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a good day of streams, man. Tomorrow's going to be a good day of streams. All right, let me see if I can find Callus on. It's been a while, man. It's been a while since I talked to this guy on there. Let's see, can I find? Let's see here. All right, might have to get him on Twitter because I can't just find. Actually, let me double check the Twitter here. Oh, by the way, dude, I've been trying to tweet about this stream. That's why the stream ran late. I'm getting an error on Twitter. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my. Oh, there it goes. Jesus Christ. Anyway. It literally was telling me in so many words, Twitter's too busy right now. Like, what? Twitter's too busy right now. And it wouldn't let my tweet go out. I was trying to tweet that Callus was going to be on the show and we're going to be talking about all of this. Yo, what's your Discord name, Callus? I'm hitting you in the Twitter DMs right now. Maybe it's something I'm missing. We'll get you in here. Not a problem. By the way, I've been reaching out to a lot of people. I know you guys have been on me about trying to do more collabs. And so I've been reaching out to a lot more people. Had some pretty cool combos with people. So I'm going to be doing a lot more collaborations. And I am pretty excited to have all of that going on. Let me see here. I'm just scrolling through, trying to find Callus. Where you at, buddy? Damn, man. Like, he's got to have a different name. Oh, here we go. The Dreamwalkers. All right, here we go. Boom. Beautiful. All right, let's give this man a call. Heavy spoilers? Yeah, I'll reach out to heavy spoilers for sure. I will definitely do that. Okay, guys, just give me a second here. It looks like it's loading up. And Callus is on the East Coast, so we should have a decent connection. But I will say, dude, things have been a little weird this morning with the tech. The tech's been a little weird. So it's like still loading in Callus here. Oh, I think I hear you, my man.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your video is still loading in, but we'll just keep an eye on that, and if and when it comes in, I'll throw it up on the screen. All right.
Rock on.
So what is up, my friend? How are you?
I'm feeling good, bro. How about you?
I'm feeling pretty good too, man. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited.
I got a.
Yeah, what's up?
Feedback. Hold on.
Okay.
I got feedback.
It sounds good on my end, but yeah, you could maybe if it's something on my end that's messing with your stuff, let me know. I can try to fix it. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this conversation with you, man. Yeah, everything sounds good on my end. Like, as long as it's not too distracting for you, I think you sound good. Chat, let us know. Callus sounds good, right?
I just hear myself in my own earphones.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's probably a little bit weird. I have that going on almost always when I'm streaming now, just because I monitor my own stuff. But it did take me a second to get used to it. It's weird.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't happen last time though.
Yeah, it probably didn't. I mean, if you need to, we could exit out of it. You can try to give me a call back again. And then if you go into your user settings, maybe it's something to do with your user settings. I don't know. So I have like my input.
Let me check.
I got my output device here. Yeah. But yeah, I'll give you a second, man. Just let me know. Let me know when you're good. I'll see what the chat is saying. Feel free to make this a 2-hour stream, says Justin. Yeah, right on, man. Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll get into it for sure. We will get into it for sure. Does Disney have the balls, though? Bring on Bane. Trinity's giving us the boomer stuff. That's an emoji we need to add. We need to add boomer Trinity emoji for sure. All right, brother, you ready to get into this convo?
Yeah, I think that was what I needed to do. Let me see if I can still hear you. Can you?
Yep, I'm here. You got me?
All right, yeah, I got you now.
Beautiful. All right, cool. So I don't have your vid, but that's cool, man, because we'll just keep it like this for now, and if I see it pop up, I'll put the video up. But it's all good because you have the best voice on YouTube. You know what I mean? So.
Yes, sir. I understand. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, dude, I immediately thought of you, and actually, I watched a video of yours yesterday after I was doing some research for Bane, and I watched one of your videos. It was like an older one where you were explaining Bane, his story, Zannah, and all that sort of stuff. So let's start, if it's okay with you.
Yeah.
You want to just kind of bring everybody up to speed, basically give like the shorter version of that story for everybody so they know who Bane is?
Yeah. So Bane, the Dark Lord of the Sith. Well, he's the one that I guess we credit him as the founder of the Ruler of Two. So based on Revan's teachings, as he explored the Rakatan Temple, and he found Revan's holocron. This is because he did not necessarily agree with Lord Khan, who was the leader of the Brotherhood of Darkness, okay, who believed that all the Sith united under the dark side of the Force made them stronger. And for whatever reason, Bane began to have doubts. He did not agree with that. So he went on his search. He left the Brotherhood of Darkness, went on his search to find truer answers. He was led to the unknown world, which was where he found the Rakatan Temple, drawn to the Revan's holocron. And then he spent weeks just studying the holocron until it actually died because of how ancient it was. So long story short, he ended up destroying the Brotherhood of Darkness when the Brotherhood of Darkness was fighting the Army of Light on, I believe it was Rusan, led by Lord Hoth. He destroyed them with a thought bomb. Then he becomes the only Sith at that point, and he's trying to find his apprentice. And by the end of the book, you see in the epilogue of Path of Destruction, where he meets Rain, and I believe she's 6 to 8 years old, and she was left on Rusan after everybody is trying to leave, and there's a Jedi that is trying to bring her with them, and she doesn't want to go because her parents are still on the planet. So she actually, with the Force, she kills that Jedi. Bane is like amazed at how strong she is, but he doesn't necessarily want to apprentice her, but he thinks maybe she is the one. And then by the end of that epilogue, she's like, listen, I'm young, teach me. I'm with you. Teach me. So he brings her, and that begins that relationship at the end of the Path of Destruction. So Darth Zannah, and she is just, she's such a beast.
Yeah.
She's the one that Bane is he's so smart, and I love the way that Drew wrote him, because he made him so relatable. He's flawed. He recognizes his own flaws. He knows his strengths and his weaknesses, and he uses Zannah to balance himself. And he really does wholeheartedly believe in the rule of two. And so Bane, in my opinion, other than Darth Kaitis is the only one that I think gives him a run for his money as far as my love for the Sith Lords, is the best, just hands down.
Okay, so a couple of things right off the bat. First of all, I could listen to you talk about the Sith all fucking day. So I think if one of the mods can throw Callus's channel link in the chat, that would be great. Guys, you got to go check out Callus talk about, because look, there's a ton of people doing videos on YouTube about Star Wars and Legends and EU and stuff like that. But look, it's just one of those things, man. You've got your double cheeseburger, and then you've got your Big Mac. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you want? If you want to have a good enjoyment, you got to go for the good stuff. Listening to this man talk about this, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So
I appreciate you, man.
Of course. So that's number one. Number two, okay, so let's get into this thought bomb thing. So, okay, Bane is this guy, essentially, just kind of, and I just kind of want to bounce my more normie EU knowledge off of your expertise, and then maybe we can kind of come up with a good story. So,
absolutely.
So the guy is, he's more or less a normal guy. He is Force sensitive, and he's involved with the Brotherhood of Darkness, right?
Correct. So the way that the Path of Destruction actually begins, he's working in the mines of Patros, and his father, he actually killed his father using the dark side. So he didn't even really understand it until he was handpicked by the Brotherhood to work in the Sith army, to join the Sith army in the Gloomwalkers were their name. But that all came after an incident that he had in a cantina where he killed a rebel soldier. So he had to flee the planet, and that's how he met up with.
And so at that point, he's just like kind of with the Brotherhood of Darkness at this point, right? Like, and it's like an army essentially, right?
Yeah, so it's the Sith army, and his detail was the Gloomwalkers. So they were one of the best of the best in the Sith army. And so when somebody was identified as powerful, because they weren't all Force sensitive in the army, right? So those that were, some were Force sensitive with low levels of sensitivity, but then they recognized his strength in the Force, so they sent him to the academy on Korriban to train. Okay,
gotcha. And then at some point, he basically feels as though the Khan and the leadership, he basically thinks the leader's a coward, essentially, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Speak on that a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, he thinks that his philosophy is flawed in that there's no challenge for real leadership. So he hides away. Khan he never actually met Khan in person until towards the end of the book. And so he's fighting with Qasim to learn sword fighting styles, different sword fighting styles. And Bane, you can see just by looking at him, I mean, he's powerful physically in stature. He's just a strong man. He spent the first part of his life mining, in the mines of Patros. So he's a physically intimidating guy. And so that and then he's got, oh man, bro, my head is spinning now.
No, it's all
So
good.
when you take the fact that his father was very, very abusive to him, right? And his father used to call him the bane of his existence.
Oh shit. Okay.
Right. And so that is when he was accepted and they told him, all right, now you have to take on a new identity. Some people don't necessarily take an entirely different name. They just they just use their own name. But when he was asked that question, that immediately came to him, that he was the bane of his father's existence. And so he would be Darth Bane.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So essentially, like, he gets in this army, you know, he's doing his thing, but he's just not feeling this dude. He's like, this isn't the way. And then he feels called to, what was it, Rakata Prime? Or where was the...
Yeah, well, they call it the unknown world. But it's in, I guess it does turn out, if we remember the game, it is, help me, Justin, is it Rakata Prime?
Yeah, Justin,
in
you
the
would
game,
know.
it's Rakata Prime.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but essentially he gets called to a Rakatan planet of some kind, right?
Yeah, they call it the unknown world.
Okay, gotcha. And then he has access to Revan's holocron. Okay.
Yes.
And from this holocron, he basically he's like, this is it. This is what I was called to, and he's learning from Revan's holocron. And I didn't know this. So you're telling me this dude watches this thing so much that he wears it out?
He wears it out. Yeah. I mean, it was the technology was ancient, because remember, this is 1,000 years ABYs with Bane's existence, and you have Revan's existence, how predated even that. So the technology was just didn't withstand his usage, and he was just absorbing all of this information, absorbing it, and he eventually wore it out. But he was taking notes all the time. So with each teaching, he was writing on, they call it flimsy, you know, which is paper in our world. But he was taking notes on the lessons, and he was formalizing the new Sith order. And by that being the rule of two.
Yeah. And so then the thought bomb, because this is the whole idea. So this guy, so he's in the army. He's like, this ain't it. He's feeling called to the holocron. He gets there. He's like, this is what I've been looking for. And then he's taking notes. He's studying. He formulates his own sect of the religion, basically based on Revan's teachings. And so then, because he sees the Sith, he views the Sith as this chaotic, all over the place, impure kind of disaster, essentially, right? Yeah. And so
they're just siphoning their own power. The dark side needs to be channeled, and it channeled through the one to crave it and the one to embody it. So that was Revan's thought process. And then and Revan straight up says, anybody who disagrees with this is a fool. And Bane adapted that mentality, that you're a fool if you think that the dark side spread amongst all dark side users will allow for it to be its strongest. It needs to be channeled through the one vessel and craved by the other.
Gotcha. And what's important, I think, to, you know, new canon heads, or just kind of more, let's call them Disney fans, or, you know, Disney Star Wars fans or whatever, I think the important thing to mention is that Palpatine and the rule of two that Palpatine uses, this all draws a line directly back to Bane. And
That's
so
right.
you could essentially say that in some ways Palpatine is a student of Bane, or I've heard it said as
Absolutely.
though, I don't know how to perfectly explain it, but he's basically carrying on Bane's Sith. And so Palpatine
That's correct.
Right, he's like an extension of that through the ages, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So the problem is that you have the rule of two philosophy, and then you have once, and I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but after the third book, right, when Bane is no more, I mean, I guess he does live a little bit inside of Darth Zannah, and Zannah takes on her apprentice, which is the Ictachi Darth Cognis, who becomes Darth Cognis, right? Darth Cognis, she continues that philosophy of the rule of two. So she's still continuing the Sith legacy, okay? But she takes on the the mutant. He's a 3-eyed human, and his name is Darth Millennial. He disbelieves in the rule of two. He actually believes in Lord Khan's philosophy, where it should be spread amongst more, because they believe that there's power in numbers, right? And so she actually has to banish him or else kill him. But so Darth Millennial leaves. So Cognis is no longer his master, and he takes his ideology elsewhere, and he actually forms his own sect of dark side users. But she continues that legacy from there, but he is no longer her apprentice. So yeah, she was the last of from Zannah, Bane, and then it just kept going. It just kept going.
And eventually gets to Hugo Damascus, and
exactly.
yeah, very cool. So to take it back to the thought bomb, because this is, I think, something that's kind of cool. And essentially, guys, one of the reasons that I want to talk about this, and yes, this is the Legends version, and so there could be changes, there could be complete differences, alterations for whatever they might do with Disney. But point being, I think that it is cool to talk about these reference points, because then I want to get into how we see the Disney version possibly happening, right? So to take it back to the thought bomb, this is essentially like a sort of Sith red wedding of sorts, right?
Yeah. So absolutely.
So yeah, take us through that.
Yeah, I mean, so he had to actually go. I believe he learned that process through Darth Andadu. And who is more involved with Sith sorcery. He knows that he is not, like I said, he's limited with respect to Sith sorcery. And that's one of the reasons why he brought on Darth Zannah, and made sure that because she had a sort of an inclination for it. So he really fostered that within her. But yeah, so he learns the thought bomb through Darth Andadu on, what's the name of that planet? Planet Ambria. And that's also where he meets the, I believe it's Ambria, where he meets Caleb, who was to try to free him from the poison that I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway, so he, when he learns the thought bomb, then he has to figure out how he's going to sort of get all of the Sith into one place so that he can extinguish that or set that off and eliminate everyone in one full swoop. And he manages that back on Rusan, where the Army of Light meets the Brotherhood of Darkness. So he fools his sort of girlfriend at the time, if you can call her that, into communicating with Lord Khan that he will join the Brotherhood of Darkness. They're there. He manipulates them into one spot where Khan thinks he's going to be able to kill Bane, and they actually sets off the thought bomb, and it doesn't really destroy them. It encapsulates them within the Force. It sort of catches them inside the Force. It's like a Force bubble, if you will. So they're just stuck there in time, and they can't. They're just stuck there. So they're not physically dead, if you will, but they're trapped within that thought bomb.
Interesting. So is this similar to, because like I'm kind of thinking this is a similar thing, perhaps I'm feeling like a little World Between Worlds energy, a little of the Night Sisters magic,
Very much.
Yeah, and then a little bit of Force Ghost kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah, very much Night Sister-ish, because it's that Sith sorcery that you have going on there. And yeah, I guess you could World Between Worlds it a little. I'm not much of a fan of World Between Worlds, but it is little World Between Worlds and Night Sister. So
they're all basically off the table. All the Sith off the table.
Eliminated. Yep.
Yeah.
So, or as far as they knew or understood, because remember, at this time we do have dark side users, but none that were identifying themselves as Sith at that time.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. And so then rolling out of that, he more or less decides to take Zannah as an apprentice, and he starts rule of twoing it. Is this yeah, accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, and then you roll into the next book, and that's, I mean, it's another banger. The whole trilogy. I mean, I really, honestly, I recommend that if you are a fan of the Sith, Plagueis and the Darth Bane trilogy are top notch.
Hell yeah.
Top notch, yeah. And so in that second book, he's training her again. Like, he's very wise in making sure that she balances him. So while he's trained single bladed, right?
Yeah.
He recommends that she use the double blade, so she's completely defensive. Like, she's impenetrable as far as lightsaber combat. She balanced him with that respect, because he's Gemso. He's hard body. Like, he's coming at you with everything that he has. You know, that's just his style, and hers was more finesse. You know, and defensive, and manipulative. And then she was always also able to work Sith sorcery into her attacks. So she was very deadly, very, very deadly, as it proved to be in the last book. She defeated him.
Yeah, she defeated him. Yeah, it's so interesting to me, and she seems like a really cool character too. And I know, like, her sort of propensity for the sorcery is a really cool thing. And I think there is some precedence in canon with the Night Sisters that wouldn't be too far of a leap. You know what I mean, for the normies. But my whole thing is this, man. Now that we've sort of talked about the Legends thing or whatever, when it comes to Old Republic under Disney, most people go right for Revan, right? And they really want Disney to, like, go back and do Revan and do the story. And I kind of put forward yesterday, in my vid, but I've also just kind of expressed this. I think Bane is the better way, because, like, for instance, we got on the thumbnail our guy Keanu, right? And everybody's like, Keanu as Bane, and all that, right? And I think that's cool, but I'm weary of them going back to tell Revan's story. I don't want Revan's story told. I'm okay with it being referenced, and I think the Bane story, especially with the use of the holocron, allows for that kind of a thing to happen without tarnishing the Revan thing. But then again, it becomes, well, the same concern could be said for Bane, that they would tarnish Bane. So I just said a lot of stuff, but what do you think about that, man?
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic with everything that comes out now. So I would agree that I don't think that they need to go back and tell Revan's story. What I prefer is that they validate the stories of Legends. Now, they don't need to do all of them, but with them saying that, let's say they go through with this Bane trilogy, right? It validates Darth Revan. It means that Darth Revan did exist. And with Bane now existing in Clone Wars, it also states that Revan must have existed, right?
Yep.
And so if that's the case, I don't need you to tell that story anymore. I would prefer that story to stay as the Legends. Now, if you're going to bring that adaptation to life exactly as it was told in those books, then I'm all for it. But if you're going to bring it back and rewrite it, then I don't want to necessarily hear that story, because I think that Drew did a great job. He did a great job telling Bane's story from start to finish. So if you're going to tell the story, tell it as it was told, and I'm all for it. Don't give me some new adaptation of Darth Bane.
Yeah. Okay, so that kind of brings in a really interesting, because I don't know if they would just retell the story. I feel like there needs to be some changes, and potentially with what they're doing with the High Republic and the Old Republic and creating a through line between all of that. I think there would be changes. So let me ask you this then. What are the core tenets of the character that you would be like, let's just say we got you in a room, okay? And it's like you and me on one side of the table, and it's Kathy and whoever on the other side, okay? And they want to do things, you know what I mean, to this character, and they've got a list, and then you've got a list of things that are like no bending on this, that, second, and the third. What are your no bends? Like, what are the things that must remain for the core of the character for you as a fan to accept the Disney version?
I don't want to see his character change at all. So when I don't need to see any swapping of any sorts.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him being dumbed down of any sort. Bane was an asshole, if we're just being straight up, right? But he was an asshole with heart. So he wasn't necessarily, and I'm sorry if I'm cursing so early in the morning.
You don't gotta fucking worry about that shit.
he wasn't a prick, but he was an asshole. Okay, so I don't want to see that taken away from him. I don't want to see him become somebody that he wasn't. If you can embody who he was, right? This is a 6-foot+ dude, probably 250, maybe 300 pounds. This is a stacked dude.
Yeah.
He did care, right? But because of the abuse that he went through as a child, there was a I don't give a damn underlying to his character, where he could flip the switch like this on you. I don't know if Disney could keep that intact.
So you worry about them sort of Disneyfying it, bringing it back a little bit,
and sort of smoothing out his rough edges. And I don't want to see that. He needs to stay that way so you can tell his story correctly. I would love to see his journey to the unknown world and see him find the holocron. I would love to see him meet Zannah. I would love to see him train Zannah. I would love to see him fight those 5 Jedi at the same time. I would love to see him fight the Blade Master. There's a lot to his story that would be great on screen.
Yeah.
And that I don't think they would really need to deviate from what Drew has already said.
Yeah, no, look, I'm with you. I just feel as though, first of all, okay, so coming in from the corporate side, and I appreciate the super chat, Scott. Thank you, man. He says, "Yo, Darth Bane, I want him to have his armor from he says Clown Wars, but I think he meant Clone Wars. What do you think? The armor from the Clone Wars? What do you personally think about that, Callus? That armor was a little like samurai-esque.
Yeah, it was too much. I don't know what they were really going for with that, because Bane, when he was wearing the obelisks, yes, he was armored. But after he removed those, he wasn't armored, and he certainly didn't wear a helmet to that extent. But when he did, it was because of the obelisks that created that armor for him.
Right on. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting just to touch on that. But I would say if I'm okay, I just get worried, okay, because the corporate side of it is, look, if we do Bane, and because here's the report says multiple projects, and I didn't want to jump too far ahead, and look, we don't know for sure, but when it comes to the future Star Wars movies, it's the biggest question mark in my mind. Okay. Mm-hmm. And, I've heard so many different things, and I felt like they had a plan at one time, and then obviously they lose Dan and Dave. And then I was being told, the plan is still the plan. They're just plugging someone in. They couldn't plug anybody in. And now I'm just confused. I'm like, so what are they doing? We thought either High Republic or Old Republic was going to be where they went with the future films, and I think most fans felt as though that would be a good idea. We've wanted to see live action Old Republic, High Republic for a long time. So, you got to think about it. They're like, okay, well, we'll bring Bane back, and they're according to the reports, they are doing this. Yeah. But they're probably like, okay, we're going to have Bane, but we can't do, like, the next series of Star Wars movies can't see Bane, especially in his EU Legends iteration. He cannot be the hero of these movies, right? So how are you going to create a series of films and or shows that involve Bane and that have that going on? Like, who could be the protagonist in that situation? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Yeah.
if you involve Bane, each encounter, Bane is the victor. So I mean, there's no situation that you can put Bane in that he didn't come out of on top eventually, until his demise through the essence transfer, where Zannah ended up having the better or the stronger will at the end. So maybe if they wanted to, in today's climate where we're very and no disrespect to anyone, but there's the need to put the women front and center. That could be a spin that they could, because they are together, they're beasts.
Yeah.
And so if they were to go from that perspective, if you run that story that way, and then at the end, because she does win out in the end, then that could be the way that that they went. But you can't put him, it can't be a Jedi story told, because he defeated every Jedi that he was placed in front of.
Right. And just to get real crystal, so you're saying basically you don't want any new Disney stories where a Jedi has any kind of a chance, or you know what I mean? Like I think I'm getting the sense that like you would consider it sort of a betrayal of the character if Disney were to introduce a counterpoint light side user and build up change the mythology in a way that Bane didn't just win all the time. Am I reading you right on that?
To a degree. I mean, the thing is, I don't know if that's so. This is what I would look to understand is why are we needing to tell this story if we need to change it? If that's the case, then why not just create a different story in a different time period? Because his story has been told completely. So if your reason for bringing a Bane story into the lore is to not only introduce him to some that don't know it, but to tell his story, why tell it differently than what it's been told?
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I get you. Well, that kind of makes me think that maybe like a series or something is more in a line. Because if you do a Darth Bane Disney Plus series or even a movie on Disney Plus, I feel as though there's less of a built-in expectation and there's less of this like, oh, this is Star Wars now. And it kind of goes into the sequel trilogy problem because, one of the things was it's actually mostly just the trilogy that was really where the problems were. A lot of the other stuff was actually pretty chill, but because the movies and the trilogy are like for what most normies and Star Wars fans would call that is Star Wars, there's a built-in expectation and a built-in, like disappointment if it doesn't hit that expectation, right? So yeah. I guess like my thing is like if they literally want to go back and tell Bane's story and that's the series of movies, I'm just like sitting back scratching my head. Like I just don't understand how you do that with that character. And to be honest with you, I would love it if Disney said, hey, look, the next 10 years or the next 8 years of Star Wars, it's not about the Jedi, it's not about the good guys, it's about the Sith. I would absolutely, bro, I would love it. But I just I have my doubts, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know how they would sell that, especially if we're, Disney is Disney. So it would be a difficult sell, but people are hungering for that. It's one of the reasons why we thought that Battlefront 2 was going to be a great story told, because they sold it from the perspective of the Imperial, right?
Yeah.
That it was going to be an Imperial story that they ended up changing. So she was Imperial, but then Iden becomes, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling, but Iden becomes a rebel, right? And so you ultimately are telling a rebel story, not an Imperial story. So if we're going to tell this story, we need those balance. We need that balance. Let's hear a dark side winning story, and then set. Maybe this is this 3, and then you go into the next 3 where we learn how the light side was triumphant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a lot that can be told because you do have the Army of Light during this time period. So they could build on Lord Hoth and his Army of Light during this time period. We can go into the Gloom Walkers, right? And talk about them where he does take some L's, you know, because this is before he really understands himself as a Force user. And so he does take some L's, though he does have that, you know, the... what was her name? Lucia, the one that was with him. That
Man, Justin would know better than I. I mean, this is why I got you on, brother. Like, I need to plug into your holocron brain and figure out what's going on. You know. Githany. Yeah.
Githany.
Yeah, man. So, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was what I was going to say. So if they want to use this time period, there are some other aspects of the story that could be told during this time period. But if the focal point is going to be Bane, then I don't think we need to deviate from his story. If you want to, you know, add some flair over here, over there, you know, I'm okay with that. But don't change Bane and Bane's story, what he went through, because that was what resonated with so many fans who know the EU, right? They loved Bane for who he was.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Now, let me take it to some really wild places, okay? Yeah. So we postulate, we've been sort of talking about over here the Filoni verse and the coming shared story that will be told through a lot of live action shows via Disney Plus, okay? And one of the things a lot of people have been pointing out, and Justin actually was one of the people that pointed this out, was that this feels almost like a version of the Vong Wars. And it feels like we're headed towards a version of the Vong Wars, which would work for me. But there's also this element when it comes to the High Republic, okay? The High Republic is obviously something they're pushing a lot. The new Star Wars comic has Tarkin. It's, you know, talking about the High Republic. There's a High Republic ship, you know, all this stuff, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and they've been in the High Republic.
Yeah, man, they're like, they're going for it. And so one of the things that's confusing me is how are they going to... Because the Nile are not going to be the main enemy for the High Republic. I truly believe it'll be some Abeloth-like or some Sith god-like things that are manipulating and corrupting the Jedi, okay? And I see a through line being created from even Episode 9. You know, and look, you know, Rise of Skywalker, I think, fairly receives a ton of criticism. It wasn't the ending of the Skywalker saga that we deserved. I agree with that. But there's some interesting stuff in that movie with Palpatine, the Sith out in the unknown regions, and the possibility of a through line coming from that to the High Republic, and then possibly even all the way to Bane. And so I guess what I'm wondering is, do you think that in the Disney version of this story, and in the Disney version of this lore, because, you know, Kathy had that comment a couple of months ago where she was talking about now realizing it's this 25,000 year lore and they're building out and big ideas and stuff, right? Do you think they want to do something with the Force, you know, the Rakata, you know, I think back to like Typhon and like, you know, just, are they going to rebuild the lore of what the Force is? And will they do something like the Rakata? And could they do something that's like Sith gods or like dark side entities and then have that, you know, mixed in with like Bane's story? And I know that's a crazy amount of speculation, but
yeah. I mean, I think they could integrate a lot of what already exists into their current timelines. Because for me, it's really just the sequels that I didn't care too much for, right? The new canon in itself is not bad. I love some of the new books that are coming out. So I think they can integrate a lot of what we loved about the EU into this current timeline and make it make sense. And as long as they respect and keep what's intact. So when we're talking about the High Republic, I like them going into that time period, 200 years before the Phantom Menace. And we're seeing a time period that we haven't seen before. We've got the Jedi in their golden years, right? Going to the outskirts of the outer rims of the of dark space, right? And so out there, they're going to find are they does Vitiate still exist? Is that who is controlling the Niles, as you know, this dark side entity that you're thinking about? That's sort of like Abeloth, you know.
Yeah, that would be dope.
And that's a way to also tie in Revan, because you know what I mean. And so, just like you said, and that would grab Bane into that too, because of that connection that he has to Darth Revan. So, is Vitiate out there? Are there? Have they found Kesh? Right, where we've got a planet full of Sith. I mean, Kesh is full. The Kashiri are Sith, right? Even though because the Omen fell on. Well, we can go into that later. But did they find that planet?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And this is still a way that we can integrate what is great about the EU into what we have now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those prospects I'm excited about.
Yeah. And I'm with you. And I think that it's fair to point out that, the new canon is not, it's funny because some of the things the more we learned about, for instance, the sequel trilogy and just the lack of planning and stuff, it becomes pretty obvious that, like, if you are a writer or a creator and you're trying to tell a story that's anywhere near the sequel trilogy, that's why they kept it super vague and like turned people away, right? Mm-hmm. And so because they were just trying to figure it out. They had no idea, right? So that's why we didn't know anything about Snoke. That's why we didn't know anything about Luke before 7, because they were afraid to commit to anything because J.J. Abrams was, just going crazy. So that hopefully the flip side of that, and again, I go back to like earlier in this year, I was like very positive, and I remain very positive on the future of Star Wars. Just some of the conversations I had with people.
Absolutely.
I was just like, okay, it looks like they got it. And look, it's Disney, so they're never going to come out and tell y'all, yeah, we fucked up, and we're going to do it. They're never going to do that. It's never going to happen. So just get over it. But behind closed doors and behind the scenes, I'm damn sure they know at least partially what some of the problems were. And so either way, man, what I'm really hoping is that whatever's going on right now, and especially because of the delays, they can take advantage of this time period with the pandy and everything, right?
Yeah.
Just plan that shit out. Have it figured out, and then let brilliant writers like Carpathian come in and tell their stories with their bounds well established. And because, correct me if I'm wrong, Callus, like the EU had its own continuity, and some of the time, maybe even a lot of the time, it's just the authors or the writers or the artists, it's just the creators getting together and hashing that shit out, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you had Drew, you had Christie, you had what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? Thrawn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Zahn.
Zahn. Yeah. Zahn. They would all, Lucino, they would all be together and talk about what was going to happen next. And when they were doing their, the Jedi Order, when they did Fate of the Jedi, when they did, all of those series, they worked together. So some of it, you've got some things that are like way out in left field, but that don't necessarily need to be even in the EU. But then you've got some things that were very cohesive, that worked very well together. And I think that they could absolutely do that right now. And when you, just like you were saying, with the Thrawn series right now, right? So Zahn was able to sort of rewrite the Thrawn trilogy, if you will, right?
Yes, yeah.
And this Thrawn that we have now, I like this.
Yeah.
I like this Thrawn. So it's not a problem if you have the people who originally invented this go back and sort of, just like you said, within those bounds, create these characters within those bounds.
Yeah, man. So, Yeah, I really like that, and I think that that's such a good point because the new Thrawn is a little warmer as a character. You know what I mean? He's a little more likable.
Yeah.
He's still Sherlock Holmes. You know what I mean? Like he's still 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
But you can feel this like undertone of this is not a bad guy. You know what I
No,
mean? And
exactly.
yeah, and so if they were to take like if and I think this was one of the reasons that people were so upset with the High Republic, at least from the EU community, because they didn't get enough of the superstars from the old legends to come back and sort of create the new version of this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Those people just like your Drews, like your Timothys, they were vested, like your Christy Golds. They're vested in this universe, so they had an understanding of who these characters were. And so if you just want to set your parameters, Disney, around where you'd like these characters to remain and not to go outside of, they can do that because they have a complete understanding of who these characters are and who they were. And so, with this new Thrawn, I really like him because he allows you to see that just sort of like Anakin, like Anakin said, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil, right? So it's sort of that same thing. Thrawn he's about the chiss, right? So when he does find the Sith, the Empire, his overall purpose is to protect the chiss. So everything that he's doing, though it is in the name of the Emperor, is at the crux of it all to protect the chiss.
Yep.
And so I just really enjoyed that about it. I liked the way that that Timothy was able to bring that out in his character and gave us more of and I love the Thrawn from EU as well. But I just love that they expanded upon who this man was beyond that military mind.
Yeah,
right?
no, I dude, such a good point. And then those books are fantastic. Particularly, I found the first one and the third one just to be just so good. You know what I mean? And the current one, I'm only like a quarter of the way through, and it's a little bit harder for me to get into it just because it's so far removed from a lot of like the canon stuff. But it's cool, and I think that that's a great point. Now, the last thing I really want to get into, and then we'll get into Q&A a little bit. If you've got some time, people might have some questions.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of brings the discussion to Dave Filoni, and the reason is because it was Dave who, when the idea of Thrawn in new canon happened, it was Dave that like flag in the ground. We are going to the source. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And gets Tim involved and has the relationship with Tim. And, honestly, like Dave is just that kind of a guy, right? Where not only does he get it from the fan perspective, but as an artist, I think he just has this understanding of like, no, like we need the guy, you know what I mean? Or the gal, you know what I mean? For this type of a thing. And so I think, honestly, what we're really kind of dancing around is that, let me just ask you directly, would it help put some of your worries at ease about Bane and other aspects of Legends coming into canon if you knew that Filoni had been elevated within Lucasfilm? And you can speak honestly, because
it's a difficult. So I know a lot of people put a lot of real estate into the higher ups, if you will. I like Filoni from that storytelling perspective, that he will, like you just said, he will try to keep it where it should be. But I don't know, basically. I mean, I don't know that I have that much invested in Filoni that I would say, because he is behind it, that I'm rah sis boom ba.
Gotcha.
Right? It's the same reason why I don't hate on it's just it's the way I like to say it, it's out of my pay grade.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want to dive into the story. So the fact that he's behind it doesn't necessarily put my mind at ease, because somebody is pulling his strings at some point.
Well,
right?
what if he's president though?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, what if he's big dog? You know what I mean?
Yeah. With what we've gotten so far, I would say okay.
Yeah.
I would say okay.
So let me ask you this then, because there's this, our mutual friend Ryan Cannell. So he is not a Filoni guy at all, okay? And he really doesn't like Filoni. And I think there are some things in the Disney stuff, even that Dave has done, that are different than the EU in some ways that he finds really offensive. So can you speak on that a little bit? As somebody who is, and like, look, I mean, I don't know Dave, but I have met him several times, and I'm obviously kind of a fanboy. Okay, so let's just put that for what it is, right? So hey, talk me down. Tell me why I'm simping too hard.
I don't necessarily think you are. What I say is for me, I don't put a dog in that race. So where I guess you and Ryan would be two opposite sides, right? And I'm the Bendu, right? So you're the Jedi, he's the Sith, and I'm the Bendu, right?
That sounds pretty fucking accurate, by the way. No
when
offense,
it comes to that, love Ryan, no disrespect at all. So by that I just mean, like, for me, I haven't seen enough either way to say either way.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, that's fair.
I can't. I'm not fanboying for him, but I'm also not boycotting him. I just want the end product to be a great product, and that's what I'm looking for. Just turn that out. And yes, Ryan is right. There are some things that he has done in the Clone Wars, which he represents, right, that have been law altering, if you will, and that World Between Worlds, for example, could be one. But so you have that, but then you have the fact that the new Clone Wars series was a banger for the last 4 episodes.
Some of the best Star Wars I've ever fucking seen. It's unbelievable.
So for me, that's kind of where I sit. I am the Bendu when it comes to Filoni.
Yeah, man. No, that's good shit. Well, let's transition to Q&A, guys. We'll probably go like 10, 15 more minutes Q&A. We'll keep Callus on for that, and then we'll see where the show takes us after that. But Freeman says, what do you both think about seeing a series on Disney Plus about the 100 Darkness? First of all, I gotta just tell my ignorance here. What is the 100 dark? Is it the 100-year darkness, or what's
the 100-year darkness?
Okay. Do you wanna speak on that first, Callus?
I didn't do the question again.
Yeah. So, what would you think about seeing a Disney Plus series about the 100-year darkness?
Like I said, I am open to it, but I want to see new lore told. That's where I am right now. We have the old, right? I just want you to say yes, validate this old, right? And then let's move forward. Yeah. I don't need you to continue to tell those stories that have already been told. Let's go somewhere new. And that's why I am looking forward to the High Republic, because this is a story that has not yet been told. That's why I loved the Mandalorian, because this is not a story that has been told, and that's where I want us to be right now. So whether or not we're going to go backwards, I don't need to go backwards. Just identify what you're going to say is new in the canon, and then let's move forward.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. My answer is I would say pretty much agree with everything that Callus just put forward, with only one small caveat, is that I do think it would be interesting, especially in a new canon setting, if you perhaps, chose some past events to integrate in a way, and then even perhaps bring back some old enemies. So, like, for instance, I've always thought it would be so cool if the Rakata returned. You know what I mean? Not the Vong, the actual Rakata. You know what I mean? And like maybe like a wayward ship or a lost like some crusaders that maybe went out way long ago and now they're coming back to, you know, take back our galaxy or something like that. I like new as well, but I wouldn't mind some new that like gave us a little bit of the old flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just that's what I'm saying. So integrate what you have, but let's tell a new story. So when we're saying, do we want a series that covers the 100-year darkness? Would it be great to see it realized on screen? Yes, and it's always great to see what you read on screen as long as the adaptation looks good. But do I need that? No, just let me know that the 100-year darkness is sitting in today's lore, and then let's move on from there. And so then you can say that, yes, we have a situation where you're bringing the Rakata into this new canon, and however they want to tell that story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, we'd be, man, like, please, Disney, please, you've got this opportunity, like literally with the pandy and the delay and everything, you've been given a gift, you know, and I just really hope, man, I really believe that a lot of Star Wars fans, you know, you and I feel are both in this camp. If they can make it just better and really like go forward and give us like that, I'm all in. Like, dude, you've got my money, you got my attention, you've got my platform, you've got it all, but you've got to deliver, right?
I love that has never died. I love Star Wars, so that won't change. You know, I might say, oh, that's crap, I don't like that, and then I'll move on from there. I'm not going to harp on it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's move on from there. But whatever they choose to do moving forward, you know, let's move forward. Let's not continue to dive into what already exists, especially when we said that what was back there wasn't. Why did they remove it? Because they said there was no continuity. Why did they remove it? Because they said that she didn't have stories to tell.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, man. Let's see if I can grab another good question here. How would you feel? Okay, so we kind of went over this a little bit, but Ronaldo's question is, how would you feel if they retcon the Sith and they become the main villain in the High Republic? What do you think about that?
What do we mean retconning them?
So I think what he means is because Master Mundi says in Phantom Menace that the Sith had been extinct for a millennia, and they had not been seen for a millennia, that if the High Republic story is taking place 300 years prior, there can technically be no Sith, according to that.
Well, no, the Jedi just didn't realize they were there.
Okay.
They existed. They existed.
You're right, because they had to exist.
Yeah, they existed.
Yeah.
It was just the rule of two. So during that time period, they were hiding. Remember, they just went into hiding, and they kept themselves hidden from the Jedi for that long until Plagueis. Well, it was really Plagueis was bringing about Sidious, right? And the master plan was supposed to culminate with the two of them during the Republic time period, or the Republic era, until Sidious, of course, invoked his right as as the apprentice to become the master, right? And then he needed to take on Bane, right, as his apprentice. So there's no real retcon, but I wouldn't like to see them make the Sith the main antagonist during that time period, because they're supposed to be hidden during that time period. So that would be the retcon, if you will. That would be the retcon, that they actually came, that they knew of the Sith during that time period.
Correct. And then this goes into my, Yoda's secret theory, which is that I believe, and it's actually kind of funny because it's almost like perfectly set up in Menace, because if you watch that scene, when Mundi says that, Yoda shoots a look over to Mace that's like, this motherfucker right here. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like wild to me because, Yoda is that through line, and I think they could really and truly have had some kind of an events there And then basically Yoda and some Jedi of that time decide it is in the best interest of the Republic and the Jedi Order to hide that truth. And that would be really cool, actually, I think.
That could be. I mean, you were saying that before. I think that part about Yoda's story would be interesting to tell, because this is a 200 years. So how old is he then? 700 years old.
He's a nice ripe 700. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then in Dark Rendezvous, he speaks to Dooku about the fact that you don't know what I've been through. Like, you don't think that I've touched the dark side. I've tasted the darkness. You don't think that I've been there, bro. I know exactly what the dark side is about, and I choose to reject it. So we've got a Yoda that has, in 700 years and up to 900 years, has been through some stuff. So absolutely, to your point, could he have known about them and kept it hush?
Yeah.
Absolutely possible.
Yeah,
possible.
For sure, man, for sure. All right, here's a super chat coming in from Mike Porter. Says, will Disney transition away from the Millennium Falcon and R2-D2 and C-3PO in the movies? Because normies love those things. My fear is that Disney will try to fit that and other things in. Callus, what do you think about that?
Will Disney transition away from the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah. It's a tough one, huh?
Yeah. I mean, in the movies to come, you mean?
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. Look, the Falcon can't exist in Old Republic. So, period, it's not there. However, I'll tell you guys something. Okay, look. I'll tell you one of these. This is one of those like loosey-goosey things. Like, I heard this in conversation with a source, and to be honest with you, bro, like a lot of times, like this is where it gets fucked up for me. Is like I'll talk to someone, and then they'll be like, yeah. So this part's off the record, but then we just talk so much that I forget. I literally forget. I'm like, what was off the record, right? So here's what I'll say. I'll keep it kind of vague. I think there could be a plan to have the droids, R2 and C-3PO, there could be a plan to have them exist before we thought and way longer than we thought, too. That's all I can really say, I guess.
The droids, right? But not the
not
Falcon.
the Falcon, no.
Yeah, because the Falcon's supposed to be grounded at this point, right? It's supposed to be grounded at Batuu.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that the whole story behind the Galaxy's Edge? That's the reason why they put it there, was because it's supposed to be grounded at this point.
Yo, that is cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but it sounds right. I mean, yeah.
I thought that was the reason why they put it there, and that was the narrative behind it, that it was going to be in Batuu because it was, quote unquote, retiring, if you will. So
Perfect,
that's the last resting place for the Millennium Falcon. And then moving forward,
Peter Acker says C-3PO was created by Anakin. C-3PO's body and part of his mind were created by Anakin. But there is technically a way that they could have that consciousness be very old. Anakin just got it. You know what I mean? It's like picked it up like a fucking hard drive. You know what I mean? And then Stephen Walton says, great conversation, a tip for the jar. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Steven,
salute, man. Hey, is there anything you want to plug, Callus? Anything you want to talk about before we let you go, man?
Well, just come check me out, man. And, thank you. I appreciate you for having me and the opportunity to speak on this. I love Bane. I'm cautiously optimistic about this. If they bring it to I guess you said they really are bringing it, right? So,
well, that's the report. Yeah, but it's weird. So when they say development, I mean, technically, there's been a lot of Star Wars things that are in development that get axed. But I actually think, and I need to get a little bit. I need to get a little bit more clarity on this, but I actually think it's pretty strong. Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as they lean on Drew and the writing that's already in existence, I'm for it. Otherwise, let's lean away from it and just give us something new. But I really appreciate you having me, brother.
Oh,
Thank
for
you.
sure, man. Look, we're gonna get you on here a lot more, and I'm trying to, with the streams and stuff, I'm trying to expand so that we can have a lot more conversations with a lot of different content creators. And yeah, I mean, Callus does great work, man. I would really recommend checking out his channel. I think he's literally probably the most underrated Star Wars YouTuber on the internet, and so I highly recommend everybody goes and checks out his stuff. And we'll be talking to you again real soon, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Salute, chat.
Of course, man. We'll talk soon. All right, brother?
Easy.
All right, see you, man. Woo! Man, that was nice, man. That was nice. I don't know. You guys let me know in chat. You guys let me know. I feel like a kid at the campfire. You know what I mean? Listening to Uncle Callus tell the stories. And I'm just wide-eyed and just there for it, man. So appreciate Callus coming on, educating us all about Bane, giving us his speculation about the future of Star Wars. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. So shout outs to Callus, man. You guys got to check him out. Okay, so we're going to keep going here for at least 10 more minutes, maybe longer. And guys, we can get into Q&A of any kind of sort. If you want to talk about a little bit more about Star Wars and Bane and all that, well, I'm all for it. You want to talk about Miss Marvel, I'm all for it. You want to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Let's do Q&A. It's just you and me. It's just you and me now, baby, baby. So let me know what's on your mind. Callus says, thanks for having me. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Just subscribe to Lord Callus. Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. His voice is just great for storytelling. I'm so jealous, dude. Best voice on YouTube, man. Best voice on YouTube. You know what I want to say? If you guys watch MTG content, there's a guy named Merchant. Merchant also has an incredible voice, and like getting Callus and Merchant together, like that, damn, dude. Better have a good set of headphones for that bass. That'd be cool. He's got my sub too. Awesome. How about her getting noticed from the short film she did dedicating to Marvel and Kevin saw it? It's a great story, dude. Look, Iman, it's a great story. It's a great story. Happy for Iman. Look, again, Miss Marvel, Young Avengers, maybe not my thing, necessarily, but honestly, it's a great story. Good for Iman, and we're rooting for her. At least I am. I'm rooting for her, and yeah, want to watch her grow into the role. Yeah, it's a cool story for sure. Plus, somebody found that she did a user review for Captain Marvel, and she gave it 2 stars. And so she gave it 2 stars, but it says on her review, these stars are not for Brie Larson. I will sacrifice my own life for Brie Larson. I thought that was hilarious because she's basically saying like, yeah, that movie's trash, but this isn't for Brie. Look, Iman, welcome to the MCU, man. Welcome to the MCU. You're gonna go far, kid. Any news on Leah Colagraditis work on the KOTOR script? Yeah, Peter, I had heard that was fake news, brother. And what's funny is I heard that was fake news that got a lot of people. It got a lot of people, bro. And I think it was her publicist. Her publicist just put that shit out, bro. I'm not kidding. Like, look, I can't like prove that, but that's what some people were telling me. Like some big outlets got duped on that. You know what I mean? Josh, I think there's a lesson to be learned here about fans being overly devout to past lore. Things will change. It's not an if, it's a when. We don't have to live everything, but we have to accept it. Yeah, I mean, look, I get you. I feel where you're coming from. I do, but I think that Callus has a good point when he says, like, if you're going to just change it all and, tweak it all up, why tell that story? Just tell us a different kind of story. And I certainly think it is completely reasonable to be concerned about where marketing decisions and corporate speak interferes with creative. Okay? And we see this all the time nowadays, and it's not good, dude. It is not good. And so while I agree with you that I think we need to be open to changes, I also think it's fairly understandable, especially with Disney, to be like, well, you know, I'm concerned about this, that, second, and the third. So, but one could say they tweaked a ton of Marvel stories too. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, they did. I think Disney is letting so many rumors run wild to see what catches on the most. 2020 has been a wild year of rumors, says Nikki. Let me tell you something really interesting, Nikki. And I can't speak too much on this. I think Disney's got some fake leakers out there right now. Because I'm getting hit up by a lot of motherfuckers I never got hit up by. And look, if you're one of those new people that hit me up and you're a legitimate person and you're legitimately sourcing stuff to me, I appreciate you. I'm going to vet it. And if I feel like it's good, I'm going to talk about it. But here's the other side of that. If y'all motherfuckers think you can come and start emailing me or messaging me with that bullshit and get me to just mouthpiece it for you, that ain't me. That ain't me. I got legit people I'll bounce that shit off of. I'm not saying shit until I know it's real. So I legitimately think, and maybe it's trolls. Maybe it's just trolls out there. You know what I mean? But they're not going to, I'm not going to doomcock that. I'm going to vet it. Scott Owen, thank you for the super chat, says, tomorrow, Squadrons, hell yeah, brother. I'm so excited for that game, dude. I'm so excited for that game, dude. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna have my, like, you put your shields. You have your shields on, back or forward. You know what I mean? We got a little throttle action going on back here. Woo! Woo! Pretty excited for sure. What else is going on? Doomcock's leaks are real. Look, Jesse, man, we know enough to know yo shit by now. Jesse, man. So, yeah, not surprised you would say some shit like that. But, not true. Anyone have thoughts on what Lucasfilm will do with the Jedi going forward, especially in the feature films? It is interesting, right? What are they going to do with the Jedi moving forward? What's the plan, man? I don't know. I'd prefer, to be honest with you, I'd prefer Ahsoka, Ezra, maybe a Cal Kestis. I'd prefer them taking the lineage. Look, what do I think they should do with Rey? Well, she should obviously just live out her days on Tatooine, raising her twins. You know what I mean? Yeah. Take care, Andrew. Appreciate you. The leaks are real. So is Roger Wardell. Yeah, Jesse. Yeah, we get you. We get you. We're going to treat you like that uncle at Thanksgiving. Just, don't take him too serious. Agree with him. Try not to sit by him. It's all good, Jesse. Keep being you. Rey should just be retired, LOL. She had enough adventures for one lifetime within the span of a year, too. That's a great point. That's a great point. She needs a fucking vacation, dude. She's had a rough go. From the perspective of the character, How do you feel about the possibility of Luke having a kid and naming his child Owen? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. Daniel RPK said in his Patreon that Haley Steinfeld was Kate Bishop. Yep, I heard about that. Yep. Just wait till they announce my guy, Shia LaBeouf, as Mark Spector. Just wait till that shit comes out. Woo! And no, I don't know that for sure. I'm just speculating. But I can't wait till they announce it. Do you think Disney Star Wars will ever make an R-rated movie or an MA-rated show on Disney Plus? No. No, I do not. The Mouse 'Twas banging bats and whatnots on South Park last night. Would not mess with anything that parties that hard. Careful, Josh. Yeah, careful. Oh, for sure, dude. You gotta be careful with the mouse. You gotta be careful with the mouse. Did Palps have a grandson in the old EU? If he did, I wasn't aware of it. Fantastic Four, Krasinski, Blunt, Cena as Thing. Yeah, no, that would be really cool. That would be really cool. I want Starkiller back. Look, Starkiller's a cool character, but that's a character I don't know if you can really bring in. You know what I mean? Well, they can pretty much throw out a good Bane series or movie then. No way to do it justice with a PG-13 rated movie. I don't know if I agree. I mean, I feel where you're coming from, but I don't know if I agree. How are the X-Wing pilot recordings coming along? Very nicely, Patricia. This is what I'll say. Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen it. Yeah. This got sweaty today, dude. It really did. It really did. And you know what? Look, I thought Callus killed it, dude. He knew what he was talking about. He had a lot to say. I thought he killed it. You should use footage from Squadrons for the Mickey fight. Hey, I don't know what you're talking about with the Mickey fight, Cena. Spoilers, bro. Only the Nerd Vengers know about that. Relax. Relax. We'll get it figured out. I want to see a Ben movie where he's escaping the underworld to get back to Rey. Old Greek storyline. Yeah, that would be cool. I'd be into that. Yeah, that'd be sweet. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum. To be honest, out of all the characters in the Old Republic, I just want to see HK-47. Hell yeah, man. HK-47 is the shit. We got to see some post-sequel content and see the current state of the galaxy. It would be so cool to have stories that don't have to rely too much on the Skywalker saga. Nerdy Seb, I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree. I think that'd be dope. Man, a lot of love in the chat, a lot of spice in here today. Thank you guys so much. I highly recommend, if you have not considered it, check out the memberships. We do not do Patreon stuff anymore. So the only way to support the channel is through Super Chats and memberships. If you have not joined the membership, please consider joining today. You get access to all your dope emojis, which I'm sure some people will start spamming into the chat. Every Saturday, we do an exclusive Nerd Vengers behind the scenes stream. We also put together cool stuff as a team and as a community. And trust me, you're going to see some cool shit tomorrow, I promise you, with regards to the Nerd Vengers. You get a discount on merchandise. And just in general, man, you get full access to the tower. It's really cool. So. Okay, this is a beautiful question, Jesse, man. And hey, look, maybe the first time you've ever actually said some real shit. Wait, where'd it go? What? Did you take? Oh, here we go. If Doomcock and Roger Wardell are fake, then how do you explain all the leaks that turned out to be true? It's very easy, Jesse. They literally take other people's scoops that are real and other people that actually do have sources, and they just copy pasta and claim it as their own. But they're not smart enough to not follow the more outlandish things being said. And because they have no sources, they can't actually vet any of the information. So there you go. And by the way, I don't mind Doomcock. I think he's hilarious. I think his content is funny as fuck. But if you watch his videos and then you're like, I know what's going on, you're an idiot. But he's entertaining. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it there. Thank you so much, Nerd Vengers, Broke Vengers, and everyone in between. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Shout out to Lord Callus. Shout out to you guys. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.